Let's have a quick look at all the meme coins that we've been looking at recently on the channel. Of course, starting with Mr Miggles. So in our last video, we could see that the price was just hovering around this purple area of support. And we could see the RSI was like kind of slowly grinding up. I mentioned I wanted to see the RSI break above the 50, which is exactly what happened. We had a big push up to the 4 cent area. I know that was just one whale buying like a massive stacky all in one go. So it kind of ruined the price short term, but you can see we're pretty much bouncing back now. I'm pretty close to filling that wick. What I like now is that we've once again pushed above the 50 and we bounced off it and continuing the uptrend now. So we'd want to see this RSI start legging up and price would also start legging up as well. I previously talked about how if a coin goes to only around 40 and doesn't reach the oversold levels and then breaks above quite strongly, that's a pretty bullish sign for the strength of the coin and the potential of an upcoming trend. So hopefully this 40 bottom on the RSI coinciding with all these touches into this big support area and bouncing away was like a final bottom for Miggles. When you zoom out on the 12-hour chart, you can just see exactly how respected this support area was, and the 12-hour has just gone above the 50 as well. There's so much room for the 12-hour to reach the overbought regions of 70 plus, which would signal very strong momentum. Now I thought this first run was going to be when we get into that overbought area. Well, we had a pretty big pullback after that run up, but maybe this is the one where if we break 60 on the RSI, that should be a break of the 5 cents recent high that we had. And like I said before, once you break this 5 cents area and you have the RSI breaking 60, that's going to be such strong momentum that I would expect this 6 cent area that I marked out before to be reclaimed easily. And by reclaim I mean the price will, it won't, this is just an example, but it'll go above the line and it will start reclaiming it, so the price will not go below the line again. And if we get like a push into the overbought area, then we should be targeting the highs of like 8 to 9 cents at least for now, which would put Miggles back to nearly 100 million market cap. Now it's not just going to be a straight line like this, but I think this will have this pattern of the price grinding up to an overbought area of RSI and strength will happen. Before we carry on with the analysis, I'm currently at 71 subscribers. So my fiance has gone on holiday for 3 weeks. She's due back on September the 10th and she's bet me that I can't get to 100 subscribers before then. I would appreciate if you help me win this bet and subscribe to the channel. I've been saying on the channel that there's some pretty big news for the long-term future of Miggles coming soon, and in the Telegram one of the team has emphasized that. They said we have a huge announcement coming soon which we think you guys are going to like, and basically now is a good time to add. By the way, I've been thinking of opening a Telegram channel where I post more thoughts in real time. Let me know in the comments if that's something that would interest you. So I don't want to explicitly say what's coming, but what I'm going to say now, maybe you can read between the lines. One thing that's good for Miggles is that today we had Brett listed on Binance Futures and it was also listed on Upbit. If you don't know what Upbit is, it's like the biggest Korean exchange, and Koreans are probably the biggest degens in crypto when things get in very bullish condition. Now Brett and Pepe were listed on Upbit today, but they were only listed on a USDT pair. If you start getting coins, especially base coins, listed on the Korean won pairs on Upbit, that's a very bullish sign that they are trying to push memes to the Korean degens on Upbit. Don't take this as me saying that Miggles is going to go on Upbit, but you need to think, what do coins need to get these big exchange listings? And that's the biggest hint that I'm going to give you. But once Miggles has this, then it should be easier to get on tier 1 exchanges such as Bybit, OKX, KuCoin, and then it can start getting listed on the biggest exchanges. Now that we've had Brett get listed on Binance Futures today, there's no reason why Miggles can't get on there also eventually. And then there's also no reason why Miggles couldn't get onto Upbit and BitThumb and all the other big Asian exchanges. And of course the holy grail exchange for Miggles would of course be Coinbase. But we need to see Coinbase and Base start supporting Base chain coins more. So far they've only supported degen, and they've only listed degen on futures and not a spot listing. If we start to see Coinbase list their own chain coins in spot listings, then I would expect the whole Base ecosystem to explode. Since we're looking at Brett news, we might as well look at the Brett chart. Just a reminder that today alone, Brett got listed on Binance Futures and he got listed on Upbit Spot, but just for the USDT pair and not for the Korean won pair. You can see my masterclass squiggles from the last video I did on Brett, but I highlighted that the chart looked like it was in a downtrend where we had lower highs that were being made with lower lows. You can see that just before today, where we had the double listing and we pumped about 15% roughly, the chart looked pretty terrible and it was just constant red candles all the way down. We've had the double listing, but the chart doesn't look that great to me still. We wicked all the way to 10 cents and it just sold off all the way back down to below 9 cents, about 8,800. I did mention in the video previously that it looked like there was a kind of divergence happening on Brett, where the RSI was making a low here and the price went lower, but the RSI was higher, which is a divergence. It did bounce from the area of very high time frame support, which is what we'd want to see, but over the next few days now we want to see Brett have continued strength. Ideally what we want to see is Brett get above the 10 cents level here, like 10.75s roughly, and start to trend higher now. If it does reclaim the 10.75s area, there's no reason why it can't start pushing towards this big resistance area of 13 cents again, but I think it's going to take time. It's probably going to chop now. What happens usually, especially on Upbit listings, if you look at all the previous Upbit listings, there's always these massive wicks, and the reason for that is there's so much liquidity on Upbit that people who hold a lot of Brett, maybe say early whales or even some of the people who hold a lot of the supply, they will use the Upbit listing to dump a lot of their supply into this new liquidity. So you always get these scammy looking wicks on Upbit listings. What you don't want to see now with Brett is over the next few days it does something like it fails to get above the 10 cent region and then it starts to trend down again, back down to this support area now. This is kind of a double bottom. I did say in the previous video watch out for a double bottom, but it was more based on the listings. If we went down again now, that would look pretty bad for Brett, and it would say to me that the downtrend is still intact because we would have failed to make a higher high and it would look like new lows are coming. We still didn't get the full oversold RSI touch below 30. One good thing today though with these listings is because of how big the exchanges are, in bull conditions Brett should definitely get more action now when Memecoins as a whole run. Someone asked me in the comments the other day what I think Brett can go long term. That was before Binance Futures and Upbit listing. Now I think because of those listings, in a real bull, it should easily do multi-billion market cap when base as a whole runs. Another thing we'd want to see now is we want to see the daily chart, the RSI, start pushing above 50. I think if you get the 10.75 reclaim like I mentioned, and you get the RSI pushing above 50, that's a pretty good trigger to start buying strength in Brett and try to play a new uptrend. But I wouldn't be surprised now if it just chops for a while in between 10.75 and this low of like 7,500. It looks like Bitcoin and the market is dumping as a whole at the minute. If we get a bounce, you want to see the reaction that Brett has to see how much relative strength it has compared to other coins and other meme coins. Let's look at the Ethereum version of Neiro, and we can see that it still has the 5th highest token mindshare amongst all the meme coins. So people on Twitter and similar sources, they're just still talking a lot about Neiro, which is pretty crazy for a coin that has 150 million market cap roughly. Now we saw Brett have its listings on Binance Futures and Upbit. We've also had the Ethereum Neiro be listed on Bybit Spot as well as Bybit Futures. Someone pointed out that Bybit have been replying a lot to the Neiro account. We also had the Shiba Inu account follow the Neiro account, and the Shiba admins were in the Telegram of the Neiro Telegram. So that just shows that there's a lot of belief behind Neiro as a long-lasting meme. It's a fairly new coin. I'm pretty sure it's not even a month old. It's hard to tell in crypto because it's hard to keep track of time in crypto when you live and breathe it every day. But I'm pretty sure it's not even a month old, and it already has Bybit Spot, which is a pretty big achievement. Bybit Spot is like a stepping stone to the bigger exchanges. So I would fully expect Neiro to get OKX, and then as long as the narrative holds, they can start to push for Binance and maybe some of the Korean exchanges. In the previous video, I thought Neiro was probably bottomed around 1350. However, I was wrong and it dumped below the support area and kind of touched the deeper area of support that I had, but barely, before it had a pretty significant bounce. I think that bounce was most likely because of the Bybit spot listing, but since then it hasn't really shown amazing strength. We did get the RSI back to the 50 level, but it looks like for now it rejected. What we wouldn't want to see now for Neiro would be for price to break this purple area of around 13.25s again and start trending down again, because that could be a signal that it was a low, that this was a lower high. If you look at the structure of the highs recently we've had, you can just see it's just been lower all the way. Actually, this one was slightly higher, but I wouldn't say that's enough for a change in market structure. If we were to break these highs though of 17 cents, so let's say we get, oh sorry for my messy charts by the way, but let's say we dip into this area again and then we break up this one, that could be a signal that the trend of Neiro has gone back to a uptrend. But at the minute I wouldn't be so sure. A lot of people were expecting the Bybit spot listing, so it could be a sell the news event. The 12-hour shows that we're in a downtrend because we're below the 50 level and we have not reclaimed the 50 level of RSI yet on the 12-hour chart. I think I said previously, if you want to be safe, you buy above 20 cents, just because that's a confirmation of strength and the RSI has probably changed. A concerning thing would be if Neiro was to go below like 10 cents, there's literally nothing, it's just air. It's hard to find support areas for where it could go. Because it's a new coin, it will have times where the high time frame RSIs go to oversold. I don't know how low that would put the Neiro price though. If this was to go all the way down into like 30, below 30s, would that coincide with a bottom at around 10 cents? I'm not sure. Maybe you'd get some kind of wicks below the big 10-cent support like this, and then you reclaim it and then we start a new uptrend. I think Neiro's hard to play because of the other Neiros as well. So we talked about this one last time and it's done quite a lot, but it still takes liquidity away from the other Neiro. I think my plan for Neiro would be buy any 12-hour RSI dips into below 30 areas, or buy if it comfortably breaks 17 cents. What could be happening is we had a dip into this area and now we're just retesting this support area of 13 to 15 cents and then we get the next leg up. So now we're dipping into it and then we get the next leg up above this 17-cent high. I think there's a lot of ways to play Neiro, it just depends on how you individually want to do it. For the last coin today, let's look at Giga. So in the last video we were around here and I said that we had 3 wicks into this support area and the coin looked like it was ready for a bounce and you could probably cut it if it went below here. So what happened is we actually went through, so you would have cut that trade, and to be honest it doesn't look great now. Giga, with the current market weakness as a whole, you can see Bitcoin's gone from, I think it was 61 today and now it's like 58.8. You can see Giga is reacting pretty poorly and it's just getting dumped, and it looks like the 12-hour chart is to break below the 50 RSI, which would signal a bearish trend for me. When you zoom out on the daily, it looks pretty bad as well. It looks like we had a touch below the 2-cent support, tried to bounce back above it and then just straight rejected, and it looks like now we're going to go lower. When you look at the 3-day chart, you can see a divergence as well. So you can see here price made highs here and then we had a new high around here, but the RSI was lower. That one was pretty bad, but it's lower. I wouldn't be surprised now if on the high time frames Giga kind of ranged down to the 15-14 cents area. I think that would be good for the long-term sustainability of the Giga chart. We had such a massive run up on Giga that it needs time to cool off before it can have another big leg up. That would probably reset the RSI to around the 50 level again, and then you'd want to see like it stay above 50 and continue going up from that. When you're zoomed out on a chart like a 3-day chart, maybe it's not as bad as it looks, because this could be we had a breakout and now it's retesting and now it's ready to go again. The next few days I think are very crucial for the Giga chart. If we just start to get bought up around this 2-cent mark and you have a lot of wicks into the area and then it bounces away, then hopefully the trend is intact. I guess it depends on the strength of the rest of the market as well. Something like Giga that had an insane run up will have big drawdowns as well when we have market weakness, which we're definitely getting now. The thing I like about Giga is something Murad's pointed out. The more animal coins get created on Solana, the more bullish it is for unique coins like Giga, because they have a monopoly on their meme category. So there's only one coin like Giga, like a main one, and there's like so many new cat and dog coins on Solana. Now you might be thinking, you say that, but then in your video you talk about Neiro and Miggles. Well, for me, they have their own narratives. Neiro has the narrative of being related to the Doge family, or Doge 2, and Miggles has the narrative of coin-based cat. So they're not just random animals, there's a narrative behind them, which is similar for Giga. I still think Giga has sticking power. I still don't have any yet. I'm just watching charts to see how I want to play it. But I think there's a definite big cult around it, and it could become one of the leading Solana meme coins. And if it does establish itself as one of the main Solana meme coins, we've seen how crazy that can run in things like Whiff and Popcat, where they both hit. Well, Popcat hit $1 billion market cap, and Whiff hit like 4 billion, 5 billion at its peak. So we know that if they run, Solana cult coins can run very hard. Okay guys, that's it for today. If you've liked this video, then please subscribe to the channel, as I'm trying to hit that 100 subscriber mark. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.